And right now I'm finding you very boring.
Wait!
I got you.
Yes, you did.
What did you do to me?
I put a needle in your neck.
Kid Lalma in 1 hour.
Follow me. Here's the connection.
Do you have proof? Hand it to me. Carefully. We can go to the airport, and from there we can take it.
He's on the bridge!
One man, one needle, and a secret that's about to end an empire. We'll come back to this moment, but first, you need to understand how it started. A foreign city, a trusted ally, and a mission that should have taken less than a day. Instead, one decision turns an elite Chinese officer into the most wanted man in Paris. But here's the real question. If he was invited to help the French police, why does every officer in the city suddenly want him dead? Before Liu Jian has time to understand what's happening, he's already running for his life. Liu Jian is one of China's most disciplined police officers, quiet, patient, and incredibly precise. The kind of man who solves problems with skill instead of ego. So when the Chinese government sends him to Paris to assist French authorities with a high-profile investigation, he expects a professional operation, nothing more. Waiting for him is Inspector Jean-Pierre Richard, a respected French detective who greets Liu like an old colleague, friendly, confident, seemingly cooperative. But confidence like that is usually earned by controlling everything nobody else can see. Richard explains they're about to capture one of China's biggest heroin traffickers, Mr. Big, during a carefully monitored meeting. Liu's role is simple: observe. Step in only if absolutely necessary. Hidden cameras monitor every room. Officers wait outside. Mr. Big arrives completely unaware that dozens of eyes are watching his every move. 2 escorts enter his suite. For a moment, nothing seems unusual, until seconds later, the operation explodes into chaos. One of the women suddenly attacks Mr. Big with a concealed knife, stabbing him repeatedly before anyone outside realizes what's happening. Liu reacts instantly. Instead of killing the attacker, he uses his knowledge of acupuncture to disable the wounded crime boss, hoping to keep him alive long enough for questioning. It's the kind of decision an honest officer makes. Unfortunately, honesty is exactly what Richard was counting on. Before Liu can even process the situation, Richard storms into the room and executes both Mr. Big and the woman in cold blood. Then he does something even worse. He places Liu's own service weapon at the scene. In a matter of seconds, The mission has completely changed. Liu didn't come to Paris to catch a criminal. He came to be framed for murder. But Richard makes one critical mistake. Hidden inside the surveillance equipment is a recording that captures the truth. Liu grabs the tape before anyone notices and escapes the hotel, moments before Richard's officers seal every exit. This isn't just about survival anymore. That tape is the only thing standing between Liu and a life sentence for a crime he didn't commit. Now every policeman in Paris believes they're hunting a cop killer. Only Liu knows he's actually protecting the one piece of evidence that can destroy one of France's most powerful detectives. And Richard will do absolutely anything to get it back. Because if that tape reaches the wrong hands, his entire empire collapses. The moment Liu escapes the hotel, Paris transforms into a giant trap. Every police radio broadcasts his description. Roadblocks appear across the city. Officers who should be protecting innocent people are now hunting one of the most honorable men they've never met. And Richard is always one step ahead. Cornered in a hotel laundry room, Liu barely has a moment to catch his breath before Richard's assassins find him first. In the cramped dark, surrounded by machinery and steam, he fights his way out. But the message is clear. This isn't just a manhunt, it's an execution order. Because this isn't just a cover-up anymore. It's designed to erase every loose end, including Liu himself. Soon, a delegation from China arrives in Paris after hearing about the murders. For Liu, this could be his only chance. If he can place the surveillance tape into the right hands, someone back home might expose Richard before it's too late. On a crowded sightseeing boat, Liu quietly meets one of the delegates. The exchange lasts only seconds, just long enough to pass over the tape. For the first time since arriving in France, it feels like the nightmare might finally be ending. Then everything goes wrong. Richard's men spot the meeting. Before the delegate can escape with the evidence, he's assassinated in broad daylight. The tape disappears once again. Liu barely escapes with his own life. If Richard is willing to murder government officials in public, what else is he hiding? Knowing he can't survive alone forever, Liu reaches out to an old Chinese contact who owns a small restaurant, one of the few places he can disappear without attracting police attention. Waiting nearby is Jessica, the same frightened woman who hid inside the hotel bathroom during the murders. Until now, Liu believed she was simply another escort caught in the wrong place. He couldn't have been more wrong. Jessica reveals that Richard controls nearly every part of her life. She isn't working willingly, she's trapped. Her young daughter, Isabel, has been taken and hidden somewhere in the city. As long as Richard keeps the child hostage, Jessica has no choice but to obey every order. Suddenly, this isn't just about proving Liu's innocence anymore. It's about saving a mother who has spent years surviving one nightmare after another. And for the first time, Liu has something worth fighting for, not just something to run from. Before they can plan their next move, Richard's enforcers arrive, dragging Jessica into the street to remind her exactly who owns her. They expect fear. Instead, they meet Liu Jian. What follows isn't a flashy fight built on brute strength. It's pure precision. Every strike ends the fight before it truly begins. But in the chaos, one of Richard's men fires wildly, and Liu's caretaker, the man who gave him shelter when no one else would, is killed in the crossfire. It's a brutal reminder everyone who helps Liu is now a target too. For Jessica, it's the first time anyone has ever risked their life to protect her without asking for something in return. She begins seeing Liu as more than a stranger. She begins believing escape might actually be possible. But hope can be dangerous, because Richard has now lost control of his only witness, and he'll stop at nothing to make sure she never reaches tomorrow. Richard realizes his biggest mistake wasn't framing Liu, it was letting him survive. Jessica will never testify until her daughter is safe. So instead of clearing his own name first, Liu chooses the harder mission: rescue the little girl. It's a decision that says everything about who he is. While Jessica risks everything recovering the surveillance tape from Richard's office, Liu prepares for the inevitable confrontation. Richard discovers the betrayal and sends his men to intercept them. A brutal chase tears through the streets of Paris, ending in a hail of gunfire. Jessica is struck in the chest. Liu rushes her to a hospital, knowing every second counts. But he can't stay. Isabel is still trapped, and Richard is waiting. Without backup or hesitation, Liu storms police headquarters, alone. Every hallway becomes another battlefield, as wave after wave of armed officers tries to stop him. Even Richard's elite twin enforcers fail to slow him down, each discovering that Liu's greatest weapon isn't strength, it's flawless precision. Finally, Liu reaches Richard's office. The corrupt inspector holds Isabel at gunpoint, believing he's won. Richard fires, wounding Liu in the shoulder, but it isn't enough to stop him. This is the exact moment you saw at the beginning of the video. In one lightning-fast movement, Liu drives a needle into a fatal pressure point hidden behind Richard's neck, a technique known as the kiss of the dragon. Instead of dying instantly, Richard experiences a terrifying fate, fully conscious as his own blood overwhelms his body from within. The man who built his empire on fear becomes its final victim.